Good Saturday morning, everybody out there in the hobby verse. My name is John Newman, Sports Card Nation. It's time for another episode of Hobby Hotline, and I'm joined with two distinguished gentlemen. Happy to share the screen with them and call them friends. To my upper right on your screen, the rookie card specialist, Victor. Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, chat.
And only below us on the screen, as I always say, Mr. Logan Ward. King NASCAR. Morning, Logan.
Good morning, guys, and good morning out there in Hobby Hotline land.
And we're going to talk. We're national. We got some topics on the agenda today. We're going to close at the end of the show with some national talk. It's starting to get closer. We're 88 days away from what I call the Super Bowl of the hobby. But speaking of the Super Bowl, we don't have the Super Bowl going on, but we do have the NFL draft. And Tops, as we know, guys, does not have the football license officially yet. I think they're efforting to try to get it early, but 2026 is the earliest they can get it. But that doesn't mean they can't do some other stuff. And so I'm going to put this on the screen. This will be our first topic for today's show, and that's they're doing the Tops Now draft cards, and what you see on the screen, gentlemen, is the autograph versions. They also have non-autographed cards as well. You see here Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. They've also made a Will Levis card as well. The unautographed cards are $9.99. And the autograph cards that you see here are $299.99, or what I like to say, $300 minus a penny. I'm going to start with Victor here because this is sort of like in your lane. Not that you have just one lane, but for what you like to focus on a lot of your content on is rookie cards. And I don't want to answer the question for you. To me, these aren't rookie cards. Obviously, they're not licensed. You're not seeing there's no mention of even the teams that did draft them. So they're just guys depicted, and then obviously the autograph cards are signed. But your thoughts on a product like this and the price point?
Yeah, John, I saw the email that came up, and I was intrigued because I seen the RC logo on there, right? And so that piqued my curiosity, but I really can't tell anything by just looking at the front of the card. So I opened up the email and I went on Top's website because I wanted to look at the back of the card. And upon looking at the back of the card, there's absolutely no licensing either by the Players Association or the NFL. And it kind of deflated my bubble there, because then, to me, technically, officially, these are not rookie cards, and yet we have an RC logo on them, and but Topps is basically doing what Panini has been doing with baseball, right? And so these are the types of things that I believe muddy the waters. These are the types of things that kind of frustrate um, the lifers in the hobby. And it's one of them things where I've always proposed that a way to take care of this is to draw lines of clarity, right? So if we were to create this RC logo here on this card and just replace that C with a Y, and kind of adopt a concept that really ComC has been using for many, many years, which I believe it to be an absolute answer to the problem, and that is proper identification. I mean, why can't we just put an RY identifier on these cards instead of an RC identifier? Because technically, legally, historically, this is not a rookie card, folks.
Yeah, no, I actually, you said it the best. That's kind of, I'm waving that same pennant, Victor. Logan, weigh in here. Your thoughts on these, and I know you like football. I mean, what's your view of this type of product?
I agree with Victor. I mean, these are not rookie cards. What it looks like to me is these are catalog models in the Men's Warehouse catalog.
GQ.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, are they wearing Gucci, Armani? I mean, what are they doing here? And not only that, I was looking at the autographs on these cards. I mean, I know that they just made some facsimile things here, but where it says overall pick on there, that's the same signature or same font or same whatever you want to call it, where they put number 1, number 2 overall pick. So I'm just being nitpicky on that.
Yeah, no, for me, and I'm going to read a comment here I want to read, but for me, like if you're a Bryce Young fan, Will Levis fan, CJ Stroud fan, I guess it's an opportunity if you want to pony up $300 to acquire, the first autograph card potentially, although you had Bowman University as well. I think some of them might have appeared there. But if you want to acquire a draft night photo, like you said, Logan, with the autograph card and for what it represents, I get that. Good comment here, I think, from Bay Area guy. Bay Area guy says, I've been in card collecting world for 45 plus years. When it comes to rookie cards, it has to be licensed and distributed in packs, period. Baseball is worse with the rookie card, not other sports. They are, but football is entering to say, hey, hold my beer. We can make unlicensed or rookie cards, or at least call them that too, right? And so
Yeah, John, and I don't want to take away or discourage people from the collectability of these cards, right? Because if I'm a fan and I've been following this guy since he was in college, this is intriguing. This would be intriguing to me, and I don't want to take nothing or take anything away from the collectability of the card, but just when we're dealing with the legalities of what a rookie card is, that's where the waters get muddied.
Yeah, no doubt. I think if we took a poll, right, I think most people wouldn't consider a rookie card. I mean, there's going to be a handful that, according to their book or their rules or their opinion, right, that they would. And like you said, Victor, when you're on my show and watching your content, it'd be nice if the parties that be got together and sort of came up with sort of a rule of what we can, designations, and it can't be a rookie. This can be a rookie, but they're too busy trying to buy each other and acquire each other to even think about doing something like that. But it's wishful thinking, and maybe someday, hopefully in our lifetime, while we're still
if
around.
if enough voices speak up, it'll make it all the way to the top, right? And my solution has always been, reform. Let's take the old way of doing things and the new way of doing things, and just let's intertwine them. Let's reform the rookie card guidelines per se, and instead of forsaking them, let's adopt both versions and make something better.
Yeah, no doubt. And what, maybe we'll see that. I don't know, probably not anytime on the docket soon. Foul five ball, he has I don't, a different opinion. He puts rookies do not have to be in packs. And he's actually right, because we have seen cards that are considered rookie cards that aren't necessarily, come out of packs too. So it's not unprecedented, but some people feel like Bay Area guy that they do have to come out of packs. I sort of feel they have to be licensed for sure, right? I mean, if someone, I'm old enough, and you guys probably are too. Remember the Broder cards back in the day? Listen, I sold plenty of them as a young dealer at the shows because everyone else was, and I had to compete. And they weren't they were made in a guy's name. That's how they got the name Broder. I believe his last name was Broder, and made him in his basement. And there were rookie versions of those Broder cards. There was, I remember Greg Jeffries was my guy back in the day, 1989, and there were Greg Jeffries Broder cards. But they weren't really rookies, but they were during his rookie year. So, I guess it's one of those things. People are going to have their own take on it, but which is why I think it's such an important point for you, Victor. Is like, how can we have some sort of regulation on this so we don't have, we're not throwing darts at a dartboard and they're landing all over the place. But it's a great point by you too, Victor, and say, hey, for these young men that have worked hard to get to this point, become first round draft picks, second round in Will Levis's case, right? It's not their fault, right? They're with the NIL, they're allowed to make money earlier. This will be another opportunity for them to help themselves and their family out financially. So I don't blame the player. I don't blame really anyone. I think it is what it is, right? It's an opportunity. Hey, I'm a fan of Ohio State. Hey, I'm a fan of Alabama, Kentucky. I can get my favorite player from the last couple years on a Topps branded card, right? And so that's what the opportunity is. The unautographed ones again are $10. If you buy all three, you get them for $24. The autograph ones are $300. So someone's buying them, otherwise they wouldn't probably be producing them. So there's enough people out there that want it. It's like Kevin Jones, good comment here from KJ. Nice cash grab for Fanatics. Yeah, and that's what a lot of products could wear that designation of cash grab, right? It's us, the consumers, that have to decide what's really not really that and what we want, right? And so that's sort of the fun of hobbying. So not going to go away, and it's it's great discussion, kind of the talk about it. But let's go to our next topic, sort of one of the big stories from this week, guys. It's showtime. Well, that's my Beetlejuice impression. That is not Beetlejuice. It's Ken Goldin. If we say Ken Goldin 3 times today, he will actually come on the show.
King Goldin.
All right, Ken's in the green room. Let's bring him on now. I am just kidding. He has been on my show a few years back. Actually did that interview on the Bluetooth in his car while driving. Pretty.
I was going to say he was in your car, in his car.
Yeah, not in my car, in his car.
Yeah.
But maybe next interview we can ride together and we'll do it that way. But it's not on Showtime. It's on Netflix. It's called King of Collectibles. It's a show with Ken Goldin being the main focus, and collectibles and the hobby being at the focal point. We've seen more stuff become mainstream, right, with the hobby. I think it's both good and bad, right? I think it's a double-edged sword. My wife, I don't know if she knew or it was just timing. My wife let me know a couple weeks ago, hey, I'm canceling Netflix. I don't think this was the reason. She doesn't know who Ken Goldin is, but so I don't have Netflix, so I don't know if it's going to be somewhere else or they'll make their way to YouTube. I have not seen any of this, so I cannot give a review as far as saying it's terrible, it's great, it's a must watch, it's a must not watch. So that'll be up to the individual. I guess we'll start out, Victor and Logan. Is this something you've watched or plan to watch, and your thoughts?
I have not watched it as of yet. I do plan carving out some time here in the next few days to watch the premiere season. From what I'm hearing, it's basically, and Ken Goldin said this himself, it's not going to be what we expect, and I guess what he's meaning by that from the commentary that I'm hearing is that it's not all about sports cards. There's a wide variety of computers to Beanie Babies to what have you. But yeah, I doesn't really interest me, but I do want to see it. I guess it's piqued my curiosity. So yeah. I'll be watching it soon.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes yesterday, for show prep, and my first takeaway is it's well produced, but to me it kind of promotes the get rich quick aspect of the hobby or hobbies or collectibles. I see there's people in there that they're writing checks for $1 million, and people are selling things for hundreds.
You've never done that, Logan?
I wrote a check yesterday for $500,000. I mean,
you're a little short. You're halfway to the goal of $1 million. So,
but and I think a lot of it's catered, it's a lot of high end stuff for the most part. I did see the Beanie Babies, which was kind of a fail to me. It's like, who wants
Are
to watch?
those still, like, I remember them in their heyday? I mean, are
Mhm.
those still a thing? Like, you go to garage sales, not that I go to a lot, but they're like just in a box with very low price tags. Like, I mean, are there still some of? I guess there are. It's like cards, right? You get
Yeah.
your 1989 tops, and then you get your Mickey Mantle rookie.
There's certain ones that hold a lot of value even today.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Princess Diana one that they issued right after her death, that's probably the granddaddy of all of them. But I learned, well, I didn't learn, I already knew, that Beanie Babies, have been devalued, tremendously, since their heyday. But they did, I'll give them kudos for that. They did put some low end stuff in there, but for the most part, it's a lot of high end stuff. They wrote a check to a kid for $1 million. I think they didn't know the exact amount, but they speculated it was for $1 million for a one of one Lewis Hamilton superfractor, I think is what it was, that he pulled out of a pack. So I mean, that's a big deal. But like I said, I think it promotes, a lot of it promotes the get rich quick, maybe even some greed part of the hobby. I mean, it's not a bad show from what I've seen so far, but there's a lot of sensationalism. He's getting on jets, he's going to Puerto Rico, and he's buying this and buying that, and I got to have the triple logo man and all these things. So and he even says that a lot of it is competition. I think he says competition, ego, and money is what motivates him.
Well, I hope the directors and the producers, were able to get Ken out of his shell. He's a very shy and reserved type guy. When I saw that he would be kind of the focal point, I'm like, I really hope he kind of breaks out of that shy reservedness to make this show interesting. And I kid, obviously, that's called sarcasm. But a couple comments here that I want to get to. Uh, Foul Five Ball, most collectibles are fads, but cards have been collected for 150 years, no doubt. Uh, Philly
Word.
Joe, who watched it, Golden Show episodes were good, not ringing up my friends though. So
Yeah.
he's watching it, he's enjoying it, but maybe not, hassling all his friends. Hey, you got to see this. SCA Sports Cards, you can see Peyton Manning's influence with the show, and I know a lot of the promos that they did had Peyton Manning alongside Ken Goldin. I guess they figured maybe for those that don't like Mr. Goldin, you might like Peyton, and we can draw you in. At least we got a 50% chance at getting you to watch a show. Mad City Brew said no plans to watch it. I've put the link in the chat. Anyone that would like to link on, talk about it, seen it, not seen it, plan to watch it, or whatever you may want to discuss. I will try to watch at least one or two episodes, guys. Again, I don't have Netflix now at this point, but as we all know, there's ways to find something and watch it if you really want to do a little digging and that sort of thing. So. I can't give any sort of reviews. That wouldn't be fair. But I'm sure, it's definitely going to be interesting, right? If you're in the hobby, to probably see some of the stuff they're handling or talking about or buying or selling. I mean, it's interesting, right? We see people make content, where they're just walking around a card show with a camera and it gets thousands of views, right?
It sounded like remember that show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? It's kind of letting off that
Yeah.
kind of vibe, and I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has
and
a similar vibe.
go ahead, Logan.
I was gonna say it does have a similar vibe. John, they did have, they talked about their Jackie Robinson auction that he had, and they were talking about the jersey, and they showed how they went and got it, and they had I think it was like a $10 million reserve on it, and I think it got to like 7.2 million, and they didn't sell it. But I think you'd be interested in that piece of it for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's my guy. Like I said, I hope that's on the first or second episode because
It is.
all right. So I'll definitely try to check out the first couple. That way I can have some substance.
Right.
You did your, like you said, Logan, you did your homework, said, hey, you knew we were talking about this today. Let me watch
Yeah.
some of this.
I tried, but not enough hours in the day, man.
Yeah, it is. With content, it's tough, right? You can't
Yeah.
watch everything, you can't listen to everything, so you got to find something that moves your meter. And he's sort of an acquired. Let's be real, he's sort of acquired taste. It's one of those things. People either love them or don't love them. There's really no middle ground there. Peyton is SCA points out. Peyton is the executive producer. I'm assuming his company, Omaha Productions. Kevin Jones, we'll plug this channel we're on here. Bench Clear says, I'd rather watch an episode of Chasing Cardboard. I will turn around and say, what if Ken Goldin made a cameo or a guest appearance on a Chasing? Would that change your opinion there? Word says Goldin is not the king of collectibles. If anyone is, it's Fogel. Yeah, it's people like to give themselves titles. Ken is not shy about that, right? And here's a funny comment. Dufex of Life. I look forward to the Hummel figurines episode. So Brad says, I heard the show is a Fugazi. Yeah. Back from scoreboard days. If you're old enough to remember that, you can research that. Collector's Dream. Good morning. And Mad City Brew, king of overpricing cards to make the most money. Probably he's saying that may be his actual title, but he won't say that. I'm not saying you're wrong, Mad City, but Ken won't do that. And Goldin is overrated, right? So you see, he's a polarizing dude,
Yes.
right? You're going to get that sort of commentary. He doesn't even own the auction house anymore. He sold it. He's now, in a sense, probably a high paid employee, and sort of they've kept him as the face of Goldin Auctions, but he was bought out. So I don't know if he owns like a minority stake, but he's not the majority stakeholder as he once was. I think some people know that, but now you do, right? And he's always pumping his brand, but that's kind of what you have to do, right? When your name is on the facade, right? You've got to sort of hype it up, and so that I get. Sometimes it's a little much, right? It's everywhere you turn, there's another content with Goldin on the street holding Times Square or wherever the case may be. Kind of just closing out this topic. I do plan to watch at least a couple episodes. I don't know if you got paid for that, Logan, but you mentioned the Jackie Robinson tie in there. Now I'm definitely in. You should call up Omaha Productions and say, hey, I got John at least to watch a couple episodes. Give me $50. So, but it'll be interesting, right? One way or the other. People are gonna like it or really take shots at it. One last comment here. From Vintage Card Collector, watch the first 4 episodes. It gets a little better. Ken has a massive ego, no surprise. Wish Peyton was on more. He's got a great sense of humor. I am while I'm a Steeler fan, as you can tell by my shirt, I am a huge Peyton Manning fan. I think he's made a career post-football. He's very funny dude, and him and Eli, especially when they do stuff together. So yeah, I'd be all for more Peyton and maybe a little less Ken Goldin.
What's surprising to me too, and I love Peyton Manning. Living here in Indiana, obviously I was I'm a Bears fan, but at the same time I was rooting for Peyton. I like Peyton a lot. I watched his career, but man, when you look at his card prices, they're like next to nothing. It's surprising to me with the career he had, and with his involvement in the hobby, his involvement in so many things, and yet his card values don't pull the weight that I think they should anyways.
And there's a reason for that, and it's a great point, Victor. And,
Mhm.
I'll piggyback off that. I buy a lot of Peyton Manning stuff throughout the
Mhm.
year, especially on the rookie side of the house, because for what you just said, he's well under. When you look at the stat line, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. It's not like
Mhm.
he's Dan Marino. No offense to
Oh,
Dan Marino,
oh,
another great quarterback, right?
right.
But people like to, hey, how many Lombardis does he have, right? And we're all guilty of that, or most of us are guilty of that, right? He's got 2 rings, but he played. I don't want to say in the shadow of, but he played at the same time. He probably had more than 2 rings if it wasn't for a guy named Tom Brady. But what when if we want to get, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but we can say, well, Tom Brady, maybe is in a better system, and that's why it was, quarterback wise, he's just as talented as Tom Brady, or
Yes.
right there. And I don't think we talk about that enough. So great point, Victor, is
Mhm.
well undervalued, and I like that, or at least for now,
Sure.
where I can still buy some of that stuff, and when I see what it's costing me, I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I can't believe I got that for that, right? And I think a lot of people too. And he's going to have, listen, as long as he lives, he's going to have a great post career in media and on TV, and he'll have probably a longer career on the TV side than even his football one. And when you put them both together, he's going to be a legendary. He's already is a legendary person as far as I'm concerned. So a couple more comments before we get to our next topic here, guys. I agree with this. I think you guys too. We need a Netflix show for the Godfather of cards, Dr. James Beckett. I'll sign that petition. And
Yep.
maybe if that ever happened, I'm sure we could get, there'll be a little hobby hotline on that show somehow, some way as well. So a little shameless way to get on that show. 3D 80s kid said, I made the mistake of watching the first episode, and once I started, it was like a car crash where I didn't look away. Most of it felt like a personal filleting of Ken's ego. Yeah,
It
without
is.
seeing, I could see that. So, good morning, Frank.
Morning, Frank.
Collectors are hard to please when it comes to documentaries about the hobby, right? We had the other one, I had the director Chris Fitzgerald on my show, and that was a movie, and people kind of took swings at that for Vegas Dave being on it, and people are very picky, and I get this with like who represents their hobby, right? That guy doesn't represent me, right? It's there's a lot of different type people than him you could have got. So it's that sort of thing. I get that. So James, good morning. Elite
James.
Hunters right there. Chris C makes his opinions very very clear. I'll just say check out
Don't hold back, Chris. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, really.
no, you can look up, for those that don't know what that means, you can look up Ken Goldin and scoreboard and see what comes up. And Mark Hoyle's in the house. So good morning to Mark there. All right, let's move to our next topic. I don't have a slide, guys, but I'll put the banner up. This is really, really fresh. This came down last night. PWCC, love them or hater, made this announcement that they have reduced staff. They did it on a Friday, so people came to work and found out 1/5 of them found out that that day would be their last at PWCC. I have my thoughts. I'm going to acquiesce first to Victor and Logan here. The first thing I kind of want to say pertaining to this is, peace. Whatever you think of them, right? PWCC, their auctions have made a lot of news lately. Got a lot of people active. Some big numbers coming from the auction, and so you always felt like, man, they're And listen, we all remember 3-4 years ago where this company was at, sort of on the ropes and on life support. And let's be real, they've made a tremendous comeback. But when I saw this news, I really kind of scratched my head here as to what does this mean? Is it normal everyday stuff? We just have too many staff, or is it, you know, kind of where there's smoke, there's fire? You know, prices have come down, as we all know. The hobby sort of reset to pre-crescendo type days. Is this something we're going to see sort of more? We've seen companies go out of business and make those announcements. Dibs, Star Stock, no one talks about anymore. Is this concerning, or is this just something we need to kind of? It just comes with the business landscape of the hobby. I don't know who wants to go first, but Victor or Logan.
I think it kind of comes with the highs and lows of the hobby. I mean, you know, it's, to me, it's kind of like a correction, just like we're seeing the correction in the hobby prices. We're seeing a correction in some of these companies. You know, I'm sure, you know, when during the pandemic, when things were at a high, you know, they needed more people. Well, now things are kind of going down a little bit. They're lower. Probably don't need as many folks. So, you know, I'm thinking that's part of it. You know, I don't know if you guys know or not, but PSA has let a few folks go here recently as well. You know, Collectors is doing the same kind of thing. So it's not just PWCC. Yeah, like I said, I just think it's just a correction, just like prices in the hobby.
Do you think they hire too many people, or you think it's the income is going down, Logan? I mean, in your opinion.
I think they may have hired too many people. That's my opinion. Like I said, you know, when things are going great, and you can't keep up, you've got to get more people. You got to get them trained, and you know, and that's the other thing too, is, you know, they've trained all these people now, and then they've had to let them go. You know, it's kind of a shame that they've had to do that. Hopefully, they'll find jobs in other aspects of the hobby, but you know, I think that's what's happened.
Victor, you want to chime in real quick though? Comment from Brad. Do you know if PWCC included the content side? I think there was a little of that. We'll know soon enough when you stop seeing some branded content, right? You know that the paychecks have stopped coming as far as sponsorship go. I would venture a guess, guys, that they probably did, because imagine you're an employee, right, of said company, and this could be any company, but in this case, we're talking about PWCC, and you come in on Friday, you're told to, we appreciate your efforts and everything you did here, but we've had to reduce staff, and unfortunately, we have to part ways. You did nothing wrong, but that's just where we're at. You clean out your desk, right? And then you're watching YouTube and you see a guy behind the mic talking, you know, highlighting an auction, let's say, and you're like, hey, I was working on the inside and I lost my job, and then they're just paying this guy to just point out sort of the obvious, if you will. That would probably rub some the wrong way. So I don't know how you do that. You know, when you talk about non-essential and essential, right? I think someone working hands-on inside the company is probably, you know, I don't know if you can make the argument, but to me, more essential than someone just saying, hey, check out this, you know, Ted Williams auction that's ending in 20 minutes and then extended bidding. And again, I'm not that they're putting in the effort and the work. I'm not saying they're not doing anything that's fruitful, but you know, it's a slippery slope, right? Victor, you know, your thoughts on this whole topic.
Yeah, I know in my industry, the layoffs happen for one of two reasons. And that is when the company overspends the previous year, or we're not making enough money. Those two factors really come in when there's a layoff. Now, I don't know if how true this is, but what I don't like is the method of how it was done. That to me is, I don't know, it's unfortunate for those who got laid off, but and I don't know how true this is, but it's there's no severance pay, and their PTO time has been wiped off also from their payroll.
Oh.
And those are two. Not only am I going to gut punch you with the layoff, but then I'm going to hit you with a left and a right on your way out, and that's really unfortunate. And it really, to me, if I still work there, I would really consider my job there if that's the way we're going to be treated. Now, again, I don't know if that's true or not, but from what I'm seeing, that was the way they handle it, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. And I will tell you this as someone who's lost PTO time in a similar fashion, not obviously at PWCC. That stinks, right? You earn that. You know, if you want, you can let someone go, you can lay somebody off, right? There's no
Mhm.
laws against that, but I think there should be, and some states have them and some states don't. Maybe
Don't
that's the
right.
problem. And I don't
Mhm.
want to make this a political show, but I really think that should be a law across the board that, hey, I get fired, I want my vacation time. Like you fired me. I'm still entitled to that. Just
At the
you're
very
obviously not
least,
going to get the time off. You're getting the time off when you get fired, but pay me for those hours I accrued. Right?
that's something you earned, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know?
it's already in the account, so to speak. Right?
Yep.
You take your money out of the bank. Right? You get everything you deposited. I think there should be laws against that. I think, and if that's the case, that's bad. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. As someone who's experienced that, it hurts, it sucks, and I feel bad for uh, you know for those folks that were affected, right? And again, sometimes when we talk about the hobby guys, we forget about the human element, right? The people that are
Mhm.
affected by this. We think it's all cardboard and chrome, and yes, it's about that. But there's also people, nameless and faceless people, the non-Ken Goldins that are not out in front of the camera constantly, that make the company work and make the company successful. And when you hear these stories, I'm being 50 years old and having this happen myself, and also having it happen to friends and family. You know the human element, and so that's sort of where I first think of, right? Even besides the obviously the hobby story, which we have to talk about. So there's I don't know how many people we're talking here, but it's 1/5. I'm assuming the numbers probably between double digits and 100 people that come Monday, won't be getting up unless they have something really quick lined up. They're probably not going up to get work, and it's not just them, right? Families, spouses, kids that they're responsible for. So there's that human element. Some comments here from Philly Joe to lay off include no severance and no PTO. That's shady. Good morning, Jenny
Mhm.
Miller. Nice to see you. Bowman Brent 419. Good morning as well. Uh, Brad said, remember that before you press the submit button. It's a good point on that PWCC auction or watch something. I the last few weeks, I before this, I'm not gonna lie, I won a couple auctions on the site, but now I have to really rethink. How much support do I want to give? I just said how I was affected by that. It stinks. Do I want to? Do I want to support something like that? And that'll be individuals, decisions to make. Most companies do get that. PWCC isn't paying them PTO. Here's 3D 80s kid who's in Oregon, where PWC is, and part of our labor laws where they don't have to pay PTO. Yeah, many states,
Wow.
New York being one of them, they don't have to pay PTO. Now there are some states where it is required that a laid off or fired employee is entitled to that. So it's one of those state law type of things. So Brett and Betsy Hudgens, owners, didn't even show their faces. Yeah, I think somebody said that it was through phone calls. And now, if let's talk about that too, guys. You know, uh, to be kind of fired in a sense or let go, like through a phone call. So
Mm.
imagine that. Like, at least tell me to my face, right? Be man enough um, to say it to my face. I was fired a couple years ago. I've spoke about this on my show for the first time in my life at age 47, and it was done directly. It was very professional, And I appreciate that. If I would have got a phone call, I probably would have had a different feeling on that. So, I mean, if you make a decision like that, right, be man or woman enough to do it the right way. Does it, they're going to say, well, John, does it change anything? The people are still going to be without a job, but whether it's a phone call or we do it in person, it's just etiquette, right? Just etiquette at the end. The last thing you're going to do to someone, at least for your company, I like to think, do it above board, do it the right way, at least give them a chance to say something. If they're going to be, aggressive or you can have them asking again, you hope it never gets to that point. But I believe in you're going to do something like that, you do it personally. A phone call just doesn't seem very, very professional. Brent here says bad time to be named Brent. Feel bad for those guys. Well, for Bowman, Brent, you're not responsible for
Right.
Brett Hutchins, so you're safe. Mike Summer gives us the number here. Thank you, Mike.
Here we go.
Affected individuals said between 30 and 40. And that's, 30 or 40 people losing their job is
A lot of
what
people.
it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, one is terrible. 30, 40 is worse. If anyone in here got let go, do not pull your 401. We got some financial advice here. Do not pull your 401k out till your unemployment runs out, or the unemployment office will divide your 401k and make you wait to get unemployment. Good point. Thank you, Daniel. So leave it in there, as tempting as it is to pull it out and kind of live off that. Good point. You can kind of be hurting your unemployment, right? Don't forget, who pays your unemployment, or at least part of it, the company that just let you go. So make them pay the price for their decision to say you can't come in the building anymore, right? Vintage card collector, my primary concern would be the financial risk from loans they made versus values depreciated. Auctions seem like they are doing well, so steady stream of income coming in. Yeah, right. We don't know. We can talk about a company, we can talk about PWCC, we can talk about looks like they're doing well on the surface, right? We don't know what that vault they have cost to build or maintain. We don't know what their lease or rent on where they're located is. We don't know if Brent's, got a gambling habit and he's in financial. We don't know any of that stuff, right? It's all speculation. And so, what we may see on the surface, may look like, they're super successful. How can this happen? But there's stuff we just don't know about, and that could lead into something like this. Great comment here from Frank. Ethics and compassion should come with the dismissal. Yeah, man, this is people and families directly affected by decisions like this, right? But what we've seen the last few years, COVID and even post COVID, customer service and doing the right thing and being above board really took a direct hit. And I think kind of unfortunately kind of now comes with the territory. And I wonder about the exposure vault companies have to SVB type bank failures. That alone would keep me from vaulting my cards. And we've talked about this, guys, on the show, right? I know Dr. Beckett said, like, someone asked him, like, do you have cards in your vault? And if you ever seen them on screen, right, what's behind them? That's not like a phony green screen. Those are his cards, right? And I'm not saying he doesn't have anything locked away, but like he'll say, and I'll say the same thing. I like to see my stuff. I like to look at my stuff. I like to hold my stuff. And I'm talking about cards here, folks. Let's keep it,
And I don't think the vault in and of itself was the issue. The vault system is a safe one, I believe. It's when we start handing out loans for stuff that's in the vault, and over time, the prices of those cards devalue, depreciate, and the people are just saying, "Hey, all right, just keep the card. We're even."
Yeah. I believe this is Orlando. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, but he says what you just said, Victor. PWCC made loans versus cards in the vault. What happens there, right?
Yeah.
It's great. You make money on loans. That's under the assumption that people are making their payments on time and paying them in what the minimum balances are, right? But loans get defaulted on, right? That's why you see foreclosures on homes and businesses. People stop paying, and the bank repossesses the property and now has to resell it, right? And so if that happens in cards, PWCC might take possession of the cards and then have to resell it. But are they like I think some of the comments here, they may have to resell it at a lower price
Yep.
than the initial
Mhm.
evaluation, right? We've seen cards go down across the board,
It's like
and so
a pawn shop concept
yeah,
business model, and how many people actually come back to pick up their stuff? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a great point, and then maybe that's a little bit at play here. Jenny Miller says, "I would never want to own a card that has to sit in a vault. What's the point, right?
I
Agreed.
I bag on NFTs, right? I'm not an NFT guy. I'm like, here's my NFT. You see it? It's right there. It's the same thing, I guess. It's different. Obviously, if you have a card in a vault, it's a physical entity. You just don't have it in your possession.
Yeah,
I get that, but
and there's that big money flipper game, right? So if I'm a flipper and I'm buying something at 10,000 because I want to sell it at 15,000 next month, then a vault makes perfect sense. But for a
yeah. And
collector,
listen, here's what I'll say. People have cards in a safety deposit box at their bank that they have an account, and I get that. We've seen. Listen, you go on the hobby news sites. Every day is a new break-in or even home burglary we've seen. So I get it. It's something I worry about. I have insurance. I have actually like separate from my home owners. I have card insurance as a dealer and as a collector. And it's something you have to think about. I get it. Maybe you feel better having that, $50,000 card in a vault or safety deposit box for fear someone comes in your house and takes it, right? I get it. I don't want to just kind of poo-poo vaults or say, but there is not. I think we all or most of us can agree, right? There's nothing like having the card in your possession. It's the argument I always make, right? Nothing will replace acquiring a card in person at a card show when compared to buying it online. You get to see it before you purchase it in hand. Kind of if you're haggling over a price, you get to do that in person and that sort of thing. So, a couple more comments and then we'll end on a higher note. People who need money tend to sell at a loss, leading to a crash in prices. Thoughts on this statement? Yeah, from Ricky there. I think money gets tight, right? And so you're going to sell something maybe less than you would have before. Like your back's kind of against the wall, you're backed into a corner. Even the folks that lost their job at PWCC, I don't know if they have any rules about being in the hobby themselves, but if they have some nice stuff themselves, now they unfortunately lost their job, they might look at their collection and say, I've got to liquidate some of this stuff now. Unfortunately, I don't want to, but my mortgage doesn't go away just because my job did. And so I agree with that, Ricky. People sell, how many times, and not just, it's not a hobby thing, right? People had a car for sale for a while, a house for sale. It's been on the market a while. They're not getting their asking price, and then they have to lower it, right? And so that's exactly your point here. Mad City Brew says, don't know how true the story is, but they did give a teenage kid a lot of money to buy a card. I don't know if that's from the Goldin. I'm not sure if that's a PWCC thing, but Philly Joel says, ComC is a vault. Just don't borrow money against your cards. Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, let's and I think we all hope everyone involved in that lands on their feet and is back up and running again with minimal damage. Let's talk about. Let's end on a high note. We're 88 days away from what I coined the Super Bowl of the hobby, the national this year, right in Victor's backyard in Chicago. So I know we'll fortunately see him there. But guys, and again, everyone in the chat room as well, feel free, please comment. How far is anyone? Where's everyone with their itinerary? Is the airfare hotels, all that stuff, all taken care of. Where are we at? Like for me, that stuff's all buttoned up. It's just now counting the days. Victor, Logan, what say you?
I'm driving, so that's good. No problem there. I've got my hotel. I got my hotel like 3 or 4 days after the end of the last national in Atlantic City. I tried to get a hotel that was adjoined, to the convention center, but they were already all sold out. I mean, just a couple of days. So I'm down the street at I think the Hilton Garden Inn. So I've stayed there before. It's not that far away. It's not that big a deal. But I'm ready to go. I'm saving all my nickels and dimes so I can buy some cards. I've been saving for a while, so I'm hoping to have a little bit of money to go buy some cards. But I'm very excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, real quick, I'll interject. You says you do. I do something like kind of what you just said. So about 3 months, which is really where we're at now. Note to self here, John. About 3 months out is I really stopped buying significant cards. I don't want to say I'm not buying a $10 or $20 card. I like, but anything of higher value, I sort of like put the freeze option on that sort of stuff and kind of save my money, like you just said, Logan, with the anticipation of, I go to the National and I try to buy 1 to 2 bigger cards. I call them bigger cards for me, high 3 figures, maybe into the 4 figures. I collect. My PC is Hall of Fame graded rookies, so you can let your mind wander there. Some of the targets for my list this year, Hank Aaron, rookie is on my list. Clemente rookie is on my list. Connor McDavid is. I'm not saying I'm getting all of these. I usually try to go in to the national guys with like 5 cards and try to get 2. 2 would be a success. 1 would be a little slightly disappointing. 3 would be like I did a great job type of deal. I'm not going to get all 5. I just mentioned a few there, but I just want when I heard Logan say about kind of slowing the spending down, I smiled because that's exactly what I do. But Victor, it's right in your backyard. You're in the Chicago area, kind of where. Yeah, I know you're looking forward to it, but are you all set, ready to go?
Man, unfortunately, I am not. I guess I am taking it for granted. I am taking it for granted for sure that it's. But here's the thing: where I'm at, I'm like you guys. Last month in March, I decided that I'm going to sit on my hands and build up the kitty, right? Because I want to walk in there with some cake. The other thing is that I've been having an unction that I need to like get at least the tickets, right? I plan on doing that pretty quick here. They're about 179 at the door, 169 if you get the VIP package online. Super VIP package is sold out, and if anybody in the chat has purchased the VIP and does not need their parking pass, I will gladly buy that off of you.
So Victor, you don't have to give out where you live like on the air, but do you like when being it's in Chicago, will you be there? I guess a 2-pronged question. Will you be there every day, being that you're close? And are you close enough to commute, or do you have to be in a hotel?
I plan on being there every day. I live in Northwest Indiana, so I'm about a 50-minute drive away. However, during the summer, the Borman Expressway is under construction. So we have construction everywhere. So that 50-minute drive turns into an hour and 20, an hour and 30 one way. So I'm thinking about at least Thursday into Friday, maybe just getting a hotel room halfway, somewhere in Harvey or somewhere close to the state line, and just, cut my drive time a little bit, because going back and forth every day does take its toll on you. So that's kind of my game plan right now. Not spending any big money. I'm thinking about getting a hotel at least for one night, and I plan on getting my ticket here ASAP.
Well, here before you do that, Brad has got a comment. He says, "Hit me up, Victor. I have all access, super VIP, and stay in walking distance." So there you go.
All right.
So you ask and you may receive. So,
That's right.
but there you go. Yeah, for me, I'll be flying in on Wednesday from Syracuse, staying through Sunday. I'm not right next to the convention center. I think I'm like 2.7 miles away. My partner in crime, Danny Black, is driving from Baltimore to Chicago. I don't envy that drive, but we're going to room together. That ought to be interesting. And then, I'll help pay for some gas, and we'll get around that way as well. So looking forward to it. We should have some news pertaining to this show, and maybe doing some live stuff there in the next coming weeks as that becomes sort of things start to become buttoned up and finalized. And we talk about it, 88 days, right? It seems like a lot, but it comes quick. And so my advice to anyone, if you have to stay at a hotel, right, you better again, I'm not getting any commission here, but you probably want to start thinking about making hotel reservations at this point, especially if you're not going to have a car. And as an Uber driver who does that part-time, Uber's not really cheap sometimes. And in the bigger cities, I do it here in Syracuse, which is not a big city when you compare it to Chicago. In your bigger cities, that price goes up. And so that adds up if you're there 5 days and that sort of thing. So, I don't know how close you can still get unless you have a buddy that has a double bed and says, "Hey, you split the room with me." I did that. I did that last year with somebody. I had a room with 2 beds, and someone kind of didn't book in time, and I helped that individual out. So. That's always an option. Victor just said, "Hey," and Brad sort of saw the Victor the sign and came through, or the Brad sign. So but you're every day that goes by, you're closer to go time, and so you want to start thinking about
getting ready.
It's a great feeling when you're like everything's sort of taken care of, and it's just a matter of counting down the days and that sort of thing, and sort of coming up with a game plan. Guys, we got a few minutes left. I mean, what do you expect from this year's national? Do you think attendance is going to be sort of near record? Are we going to be elbow to elbow trying to box out for showcase view space? I mean, how do you anticipate? We know it's going to be busy. Yeah, go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a phenomenal show with the expansion of the convention center. I think they're gearing up for a tremendous crowd. And I think the buying is going to be absolutely spectacular with prices coming down in the market for sports cards. I think there's just going to be a buzz of buying that is going to be second to none.
Yeah, I think that it's not going to be any kind of record attendance, but I do think you're going to have a hard time looking at showcases. So, get there as early as you can, and, look around as much as you can quickly, because I think it's going to be tough to see things. And it was last year at Atlantic City. And to answer Jenny's question, I will have I need NASCAR card sign of some kind. I've got my old sign. It's like right over here from last year. I actually brought it home, so I don't know if I want to take that one or not. So I'll have something.
Yeah, I expect some 2023 buttons, Logan. I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. Actually, I'm trying to come up with a design.
I'm kidding. I'm half kidding. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I just did. Foul five ball, not a fan. Says the National is overrated. Some people think Mike Trout's overrated too, but he's a pretty good ball player. So,
here's what the National is for me. It's a hobby family reunion.
Yeah,
I get to see you guys. I get to see friends I don't get to see for a year, and it's just a lot of fun. To me, it used to be the National was more about buying cards, but now I've been going. This will be like my 18th or 19th National, and to me, it's more just getting to see my friends and hugging my friends and just hanging out and having fun. That's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, Jenny echoes that here with her comment. The Nationals about the people. I know a show that has a tagline called "The Hobby is the People." We'll change it. We'll change it for this topic, right? The National is the people. It's about the cards too. For me, I talked about having 5 cards sort of on a target list and hoping to get a few of those. Right. Victor makes a great point. Right, with prices kind of settling down, maybe that's more of a possibility, or maybe you can get an extra card compared to previous years, right? But it'll be
Mhm.
interesting to piggyback off that, Victor. It'll be interesting to see, you know, if you set up at the National. I've never have set up. I've just went as a consumer slash content creator. There's a lot expensive. You're looking at 4 figures to set up. You're looking at
Definitely.
hotel. And so sometimes we see, not sometimes, a lot of times we see, prices are going to be maybe a little higher than comps at an event like this. But I just, that's why you shop around. What I do is I try to walk the whole floor before I even really buy something of significance, right? Especially if it's
Mhm.
a high 3-figure or 4-figure car. I'm not saying, I didn't buy a $40 card in the first couple hours I'm there. But anything of serious significance, I tried to see as many tables, find that particular card in as many places, make note of what each dealer is looking to get for it. Obviously, if it's a graded card, you get different grades involved, and sort of do the math in my head at where might be the best place to finally make that pull the trigger and make the purchase. What I'm interested to see is, with market conditions the way they are, how the dealers will price that at a show like this, right? It's one thing, a local show where expenses are obviously less involved, but the National is a different beast, a different animal in its own right. So I'm hoping some of those deals are still there, and they always are, right? There's always deals to be had. There's plenty of bargain boxes. If you're a bargain box person, you're in the right place, because you probably won't even. You better be there all week, or you'll never get to go through them, and you probably still won't. So it's going to be interesting to see how the market, how the market prices are represented with the show floor prices, and how similar or comparative they are. But like Logan says, I'm also looking forward to meeting people for the first time, meeting people, seeing people again. We do a hobby, for those that I know we've posted pictures on social media. We do a hobby hotline dinner, so looking forward to that night, amongst many other things. And it is a people event as much as it is the cards as well. And looking forward to it. And we're 88 days away, guys. So we can start, crossing the days off on the calendar as we approach it. So we're that's gonna do it. We ended on a high note, I like to think. And Victor, any kind of final words?
I'm excited. I cannot wait for the National. I'm getting antsy, and save your money, folks. Get ready.
Yeah, Logan.
I echo his sentiments as well. I can't wait. I've been saving my money. Um, it's just going to be a blast. It's literally my favorite week of the year. I just totally look forward to the National every year. I can't wait.
Yeah, and a nice thing, guys, it's usually around the same week. You kind of circle it on the calendar. You tell your employers, like, hey, I'm every year about this time, I'm gonna need that week off.
Mhm.
And for me, being in teaching, it's the summer, so it's just summer school, so it's a lot easier for me to get that time off. That's a nice perk of
I'm a-
my job.
I'm adding a day to my vacation week there, John. I'm going to take the
The
Monday.
Monday,
Yeah,
yeah.
recoup day.
Yeah.
I Well, last year, I don't want to make this. I should have did that, but last year I didn't. So I came back to school on Monday, and I was like physically exhausted. Like, if I would have like just closed my eyes at my desk at school, I would have literally been snoring. So I had to hold them up with toothpick. You know, I came back. A lot of the kids, Mr. Newman, we missed you. You know, it was
Yeah.
only 4 days in the sense.
Yeah.
You know, hugs and high fives. Well, I had COVID. I came home
Wow.
at 3:00, and I didn't wake up till my wife. I didn't actually wake up. My wife woke me up on the couch at 8 p.m. and said, "Are you okay? You slept right through dinner." You see me, I don't sleep through dinner that often. She knew something was wrong. I said, "I don't know. I'm just like dead tired. Like there's tired, and then there's like I don't want to move off this couch tired. Like I don't even want to go upstairs in my more comfortable bed." I wound up having COVID. Then I felt bad, you know, not knowing that and high-fiving kids. Fortunately, none of the kids came
Good.
down with COVID. I missed the rest of that week, and then you know, was cleared to return to work. But so I Monday I'm probably not going to do it, but it's a good call by you, Victor. You know, because you've walked probably 40 miles in 5 or 6 days, and you know it's like they always say I need a vacation from my vacation when I get back. I'm like just I had fun, but I'm like tired and not ready to get back on the grind. But I'll do it and hopefully be healthy when I return this year. And but 88 days away, folks. So with that being said, thank you for great chat room. Thanks for participating. Thanks for watching us. And even if you're downloading the show and just listening to us with audio, especially with my mug on the screen, I don't blame you. We thank you. We thank you as well. So we'll see you here. We actually have a Tuesday show coming up. First Tuesday, as a reminder, we do still do the first Tuesday of every month. It'll be Tony and Oz from Cousins Collectible, along with Mike Moynihan from this channel right here. So with that being said, we wish everybody well. Take care, and we'll see you on Tuesday.